Somehow, modding videos have returned. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. I apparently skipped December on the Modding Poorly series, and I kind of regret that, frankly. This is a good series to just kind of incrementally get our rosters a little bit stronger. It's good for me too, actually. I go through all my different characters that I'm about to talk about and actually make sure that it's actually still accurate and everything. And so, I want to make everyone understand, or at least help people understand, that first off, I'm not the sole arbiter of truth. There's a few different ways you can mod some of these characters. I'll try to introduce you to those ways, but then the other thing is, this also isn't meant to be like the one definitive time that I talk about the mods for some of these characters. Some of them I've talked about on this series, some of them I haven't. A lot of them have to do with characters that people have been asking me about lately, or how to mod, or that I've just seen people do egregiously poorly, or characters that I've just kind of done research for and been like, oh, let's actually just approach this a little differently. So, with that being said, let's jump into the whoa, we're in the game, madness. This isn't even Sparta, madness. Alright, we've got Hondo Naka as the first one, folks, and, he's farmable now. We can kind of have him be one of them. It's kind of a tricky thing because he's new enough that we don't know for sure what his best stuff is. However, after looking at a lot of different people's way of modding things, and after looking at this kit for a long time, I mean, you look at the kit and you kind of draw some conclusions. The things that you want to kind of look for with him are, first off, he gains a lot of turn meter on his own. He has a lot of different things in his kit that gives him turn meter. So whenever someone gains bonus turn meter in a turn, Hondo gains 5%. And, if he started with other allies at the start of the encounter, he gains turn meter whenever they all die. Which is funny that that's just like written into existence. And then the other one, let's see, at the start of his turn, let's see. Oh, this isn't it. Where's the thing with the stuff, guys? There's one that talks about how much turn meter he starts with in a match, depending on how many scoundrels he has. Maybe that's his Omicron. I think that's what it is. Yeah, in Grand Arenas. Let's see. So if you get the Omicron, you start the encounter with 25% turn meter for each other scoundrel or smuggler ally. And so that's important though, because smuggler, not everyone who's a smuggler is a scoundrel. Actually, like Jabba, for instance, is not. So if there's an enemy with a captive debuff, blah, blah, blah. So he gains all this stuff. He also gains speed. So you don't need a ton of speed on him. He gains enough turn meter that, I mean, like, you should know to avoid teams that are going to shut that down a ton. But he also gains real speed as well over time. So, the things that he really cares about, guys, is first off, he ramps up his damage, which is a pretty big deal. His Omicron also helps him ramp up damage, but then otherwise, I mean, he keeps getting, like, all these stack bonuses, and then he gets 15% crit chance, crit damage, defense pen, and they stack all the way to 150%. The thing is, so you get all these stacking things, and then when you get even more with the Omicron, and you want to have your cap be as high as you can, because he's doing damage that's going to be life-changing, or rather life-altering, life-stealing, from a lot of different characters, and you don't want that cap to be like, oh, sorry, you can't actually do enough damage to take this guy out. You want to have that cap be as big as you can. And then the other thing is, he also has 100% health steal, and he has a lot of different regeneration things for health, so it makes sense that you're going to just give him as much offense as he can get, especially because he gets a ton of dodge over time, and he gets protection up. He gets all this different stuff that makes it really tough to kill him over time and ramping. So people are going to miss against him a lot, and when they do hit him, he's going to have resilience. So you want to give him a little bit of a boost, give him some health set, give him a secondary health set here, and then just go offense, folks. And you can see I have a 5-speed mod. I would love to get more than that on him. You can see I upgraded this thing perhaps a little too vigorously, but this also has a bunch of offense, some decent health, and then the really big thing is offense. Like the speed is bad, but you know, you can make up for that a little bit with other things. You know, so some speed, some offense, flat offense with percent offense. This one is health here with offense. You just want him to hit hard, guys. That's all you want. Like, and he won't even look like he hits hard initially. He's also, you can be slow enough that you put an offense arrow on. That's not a huge deal for him, actually. But then all the health secondaries that you can get in offense secondaries, offense percent secondaries that you can get, you should be good to go with Hondo. That's my take on it at first, or at least. Well, the other thing to keep in mind is you don't want him to be too fast anyways, because when you're taking people hostage, the faster he goes, the faster they get a turn afterward, and so having him a little bit slower might actually benefit you. You can take someone hostage and then just kind of sit there while you don't take a turn. Everyone else takes turns, and they don't take a turn either. Sweat Stain solo with one. Does he have one black eye? I can't tell, but he's got sweat stains all over him. He's got a blue lightsaber, yay for him. You just think that it'd be like the galaxy of lightsabers, guys. After, what was it, Obi-Wan said, after 1,000 generations of Jedi? I mean, dear Lord, that's that's a lot of lightsabers that should just be kicking around. People should just have like a whole pen. You know how you like have a cup full of like pens that you just like discard and stuff? People should have like that for lightsabers. Just like at the Jedi Temple, there's just like a bucket. You can just grab a lightsaber, just like swap one out or something. You're like, I'll try green today. But anyways, that's kind of what happened with him apparently. There's just enough lightsabers. It's like Tatooine. It's like, that's where lightsabers go to die. Anyways. Sweat Stain, initially, guys, the thought was he's going to keep Rey alive. And he does. He keeps Rey alive pretty well. The thing that happened, though, was once we first got him, he did not hit hard at all. He was kind of pathetic. He wasn't interesting, really. And other than keeping her alive, which is nice. That's a good thing. However, what happened was people started modding him for all health, and that's it. Because it's like, well, that's all he does. He's just like this... this health battery for Rey. Like, you don't want it to extinguish, so give him health, call it good. Don't need speed, don't need anything. He's just going to sit there. In fact, make him slow so that once he gets damage immunity, he doesn't come out of it for a really long time. That's kind of the thought. The problem with that is then CG fixed a bug and made him able to hit like a damn truck, especially when you had Datacrons with him. He's also special damage, and special damage tends to have less crit chance but much higher total damage, and so you want offense with him. And then the other big thing with him, guys, is he's also in Grand Arena got this really cool ability where if you're with Galactic Legend Rey, which I realize not even a ton of people have Rey, but if you do, this attack instead, so it deals true damage, so it just ignores any kind of crit, anything, and inflicts healing immunity for 4 turns. I guess that one can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted, but let's see, you've got other things that you can do with this. Let's see. Yes, you can blind a target for 2 turns as well, which is nice. So you can do other things as well. I think that there are a few other different effects that you can get with this. Being able to just use him as a damage dealer is actually pretty nice. And honestly, like it doesn't matter too much how much health he has. Like I got him from Relic 5 to Relic 7 and swapped everything from health set primaries to offense set primaries, and he only lost like 9, and then I went up to 2 relics, and he only lost like 9,000 health. I mean, that's probably a lot, frankly, but he doesn't need to be super fast. I mean, you could have a fast offense set on him for sure, but then you just want offense everywhere. I mean, including the arrows, and then having that potency on him is pretty nice as well. I mean, some health is good too, I guess. Like either one is probably pretty good. Oh, and I just remembered, guys, it's on his basic here that he also does defense down, which is a really, really nice buff for him. And if the target enemy is a tank, it also does extra damage. If it's an attacker or support, it does offense down and potency down, or speed down if it's a healer. So lots of good effects from him. He does a lot of cool stuff, folks, and he also hits underneath protection, which is crazy how much damage he can do, guys. So, I mean, just because he could, just being able to ignore protection is great. So, I want him to get him to Relic 8. This isn't a Relic video necessarily, but just keep in mind, you want him for offense and potency. The health stuff just kind of takes care of itself, frankly, with all the lifeblood and stuff Ray has. Now, Starkiller is one that we've probably gone over a few times. I even have a Starkiller, Starkiller, what's it called? Faction Essentials. So here's the big thing about Starkiller. The thing, I feel like people just keep telling me, why don't you have crit damage on him? Why don't you, like, there's a lot of confusion about him lately, and I don't know where it's coming from. He hasn't really changed, frankly. There's like 2 ways to mod him. Number 1, there is the ult, if you want to mod him for the ult, and I don't really blame you for that. I don't even know where his ult is, like his, you know, the thing, let's see, okay, so size mean does nothing. This is his ult once he finally gets to it. So it does damage equal to 80% of Starkiller's max health to all enemies, and stun them for all this stuff. So stunning them, great. You want, and it's equal to his max health. That max health is nice, to have a lot of max health. And so a lot of people were like, oh yeah, it's an ultimate, it's going to do a huge amount of damage, let's just do that, let's just put a lot of health on him. The problem is that none of the rest of his kit really goes well with health, really. Like, not truly. The biggest thing for him is he consistently hits when his Sith friend hits. You know, like if you got his, which one is it? His unique? Yeah, so while he's in Grand Arena, remember, like, apparently this is the Grand Arena edition, though I think this is true, you want this modding for all of them. You know, everyone gains 35, extra 35 speed, so 75% speed. Let's see, whenever Dark Side, let's see. So once you meet the criteria, guys, whenever a Sith ally uses a basic ability, Starkiller assists, dealing less damage. And so he's just going to go, he's going to follow his Sith friend around like a little lost puppy. And he's like, I'll throw rocks at the things you throw rocks at, Dad. I'll jump over the same puddles as you. I'll do, you know, he's just like, oh, yay. Yay, me and my dad are out for an expedition. Like, that's kind of what he's doing. And, you know, he's just like, Darth Vader hits, and he's like, yeah, was that good, Dad? And, you know, that's just kind of what he does. And he actually does more damage than his dad in almost every case. You know, he does a crazy amount of damage with his basic, and you want him to do that, frankly. And so, here's what I recommend. I don't recommend if the big hit at the ultimate was actually enough to, like, kill Galactic Legends or threaten them, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably what's worth, like, building for the most. But it's not really enough, even if you just go full-on health. And a lot of the crazies out there, guys, will even put Relic 9 on him just to get an extra 6,000 health, just because his health is the basis of all of his damage. You know, you still want a lot of health on him. The big thing is, you also want a lot of damage, just lots of damage. And then remember, he's got double health and protection, his whole team does, and they do and his opponents do half damage if you keep them debuffed. And so, you know, he's got double what this is, plus, like, in a way, effectively another double. It's a lot of hit points. So I would recommend lots of health, but then offense instead. And this is, guys, you should be farming so much offense set. Like, that's what you should be doing. If you're farming new mods, farm offense sets. It's the most demand set in the game, in my opinion. Right now, it is bonkers. So, I mean, get some speed on him too. It's kind of nice. Crit damage on his triangle is fine, you know, but I try to get health and speed and offense on every single mod in some way. He's important enough, guys. Having him really well modded is nice. He's speed, offense, and percent health. Percent health, speed, and offense. Speed, offense, and apparently no health. My bad, guys. You can lambast me if you need. You know, this has offense and speed and health. So, well, that's what we're going for. But it's, you know, offense, arrow if you can. And call it good, folks. Look at that. That doesn't even have health either, except for flat health. So, that's Starkiller. Offense, guys. He does a lot of hits, and he should be rewarded it with lots of damage. Now, Cat is one that we've done a couple times in terms of in terms of discussing modding, I should say. But she's that scoundrel who she's just like one of the most interesting characters in the game. Like, in a way, I wish that General Skywalker or Jedi Master Kenobi, I apologize, Kenobi didn't exist. Like, yes, he's a cool galactic legend, and I have him on both of my accounts, so I don't want him to truly not exist. But the problem is, she was so fun to go with a ton of other galactic legends. Like, I wish they'd just make another lifter unit for him that was incompatible with Cat, and then we could just use Cat somewhere else. Because she's so interesting. She makes Scoundrels hit really hard, she makes Rebels hit really hard, Galactic Republic. As long as she kind of has a translator, she does a lot of this stuff. And so the predominant theories have always been, well, she's super fast, one of the fastest characters in the game. If we make her super fast, then she can win the mirror match really well for us, and we can be heroes for everyone. And it's not a bad idea, honestly. Like, you can even take R2-D2 with her, and she can pass the turn to R2-D2, who will put smoke up and on everyone except for Kenobi. So then if it's a race and your Cat is faster, because she passed the turn to R2-D2, then R2-D2 is able to make it so that your opponent's Cat just does her huge hit and hits your Galactic Legend, which doesn't kill him, wasting her big hit and keeping one of your characters alive. Now, and then she just goes and kills one of their characters, and then you're like good to go. But so the fast Cat is nice. I won't deny that. There's also a lot of different factors here, though, too. First off, if she dies, she is someone who all of her boosts go away. I can't believe, like, she doesn't have an Omicron. Like, this is right before Omicrons came out. And so, this thing is just so bonkers, guys. I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that they even released this at all. But she has 50% offense and crit damage, and if another Lasufu, this is where I came up with the phrase Lasufu, which I feel like a lot of people have started using, which is kind of hilarious, but I was cracking myself up. You guys can find the video from a couple years ago. It was epic. But so if she's with let's see, a Lasufu, Galactic Republic, or Scoundrel allies present, that's why you can do it with Rebels, because they have a lot of Lasufus or Scoundrels, or even some I don't know. Galactic Republic and Rebels are probably mutually exclusive, aren't they? Interesting, but she also has 50% health and defense, and she shares all of these bonuses with her light side allies. And that's just 50% for everything, like 50% offense and critical damage, like both, and health, and all of this stuff. And she gains boosts based on the disparity of characters that she's facing versus how many she has. And she does a lot of stuff. She ramps damage, all this stuff. So there's a lot of ways you can mod her. It's like, well, you could mod her to just be an engine of destruction and just kill stuff. She doesn't hit quite hard enough to do that. Like, yeah, she'll just destroy people every once in a while. Like, after her initial, like, annihilate ability is done. And right now she has a cool Datacron set that just lets her instantly kill someone and not let them revive, because Scoundrels disallow revives if you get the right Datacron. And so she does a lot of cool stuff, like just one-shot Kersantin. The problem is, she's vulnerable to a few things. So you can have her be really fast, but then she's easy to kill. If you make her really thick, you want health, right? Because of this, it's like it's not plus percent protection, it's percent health, and percent health is something that the faction she's with can help her regenerate anyways. And so you want to make her kind of thick. I'll show you guys. Mine has had way more health than this in the past. I've instead tried to do a speed set with her so she can be pretty quick, but then as much health as she can fit. So the new wrinkle to all of this, and I'm not quite sure how to reconcile this, but I want to kind of put it out there, folks, for you guys to think about. So her damage is good, but she can ramp it up, and she can just kind of, you want her to survive, you want her to be fast to be able to beat that mirror match and whatever. But the thing is, thermal detonators do a lot of damage based off of her percent health, or off of someone's percent health, and it does a lot of damage. Those thermal detonators, and the higher her health, the easier it is for her to die. Like I think. Anyways, hold on a sec. One sec. Alright, I am back after looking up a lot of thermal detonator stuff, and I actually think I was wrong to say all this stuff before. I think that thermal detonators are actually based off of the damage that someone else's you know, damage can do, and it's all variable based on the different character. And you know, it's not like so damage over time. If she's taking a lot of damage over times, she would actually end up, that's a % health damage, but that it's actually based off of the character who throws the thermal, as far as I can tell. So you can make her thick, guys. You can do that. Just be careful. Be careful with her, because you don't want her to end up being able to just get booted out by a % health damage thing. But I think putting a lot of health on her is actually going to be decent, and a lot of speed, as much as you can do. You know, I used to have her like 140% health, something like that, because I was afraid of the off meta counters, like people using like Jedi Master Luke to be able to take her out or whatever. I think having her pretty quick and then putting as much health on her as you can is probably going to be good. I mean, some offense on her is also kind of nice. So, you know, just health sets here, guys, and then speed as secondaries. And I realize that my mods might be a little bit, you know, not to brag, but they're probably a little better than a lot of viewers. And just keep in mind, I've been farming them for 6 years, and you know, you'll get there as well. Just be focused on mods, and you'll be good to go. Gosh, I should calibrate this one. This one's pretty sweet. There's a lot of really cool mods here, apparently. But lots of speed and health, and you know, when you can fit in offense, but the health is probably the biggest thing that adds up for her. Now, Dash is one that I think that we should all be looking at, because he is, we just had him with only raw offense for such a long time, because he was in set 4. You get the set 4 Kron, where he just takes a turn every time someone else does on his opponent's team. He never has to use his speed. He could be the slowest guy ever, and he just takes a ton of turns, because it just bounces around every time your opponent takes a turn. That's changed now, obviously, as Kron is defunct, and he's still a good character. And so there's a few different factors here, guys, because he does a lot of damage, and you want to take advantage of that. There's also a lot of really cool speed mechanics involved here. So, first off, his lead gives a lot of different things, but one of the parts is, let's see, so we can give +10 speed to healers. Hold on a sec. Oh yeah, so healer or support, they're gaining +10 speed. That's the big thing for him. Under his leader, remember, he's a support somehow, so he's actually really crazy in like Conquest, for instance, because if you can get him one of those things that give support characters a bunch of extra offense, like he makes good use of the offense that you give him, and so he loves that. But anyways, because he's support, he's gaining 20 more speed, and that makes him one of the fastest characters in the game, because if he's the lead, he's +20 speed, and then you can also give him a ton of speed. The problem is, he also just hits like a truck, and that's a good problem to have. There's just a lot of things to balance with that. So let's follow it. Like, so he's really fast, and you want to go first. I'll show you why in a minute. He also hits really hard, independently of all of that, and you know, he's got the mechanics to actually boost his speed. And the big awesome thing about him is, alright, so all the scoundrel allies with him gain, this is just his unique, so he can, even if he's not the lead, he's also giving scoundrels extra health, potency, and offense. Whenever a prepared ally scores a critical hit, and this is important, guys, prepared ally, so if he is the lead, and he gives everyone lead, or prepared perpetually, whenever a prepared ally scores a critical hit, all prepared allies gain 2% turn meter. That doesn't sound like a lot, 2% whenever someone does a critical hit. However, you look at the Seeker missiles, this is, deals physical damage 3 times to all enemies. 3 times to all enemies. If it's 5v5, that's going to be a minimum of 15 hits. And it also can't be evaded or resisted. It could potentially be not crits. Some of them might not crit, but 15 hits, if they're all generating 2%, his entire team gets 30% turn meter. So if he goes first, and he can do his big AoE in 5v5, he's going to give everyone 30% turn meter. That's pretty amazing, on top of a lot of stuff. He also does that with his basic, and then he calls another random prepared ally to assist, which is really nice, because so for each critical hit that he does with his basic, call another random prepared ally. So he can call up to 3 more to assist. So that's like 6 more that's another 12% turn meter. It really adds up, especially what if he is called to assist, then he can call others to assist. It just kind of gets out of hand, really. Like, it's just like this crazy mishmash of like everyone's gaining a ton of turn meter, and so you really want him to be fast, but you also want him to hit hard. What I've got him go doing right now isn't something that I don't know if I recommend this. I think I'm gonna go back to putting my plus 170 speed set on him and make him 365 speed. But what I'm doing right now, I have him at 340 speed, so he gets up to 360 from his leadership, but then he has offense on everything. And you can make him even faster. I mean, I have faster than plus 18, but I'm going on with a mismatched set. One thing to keep in mind, guys, he's also a pilot, so you want to put relics on him because he's part of the best fleet. But then he's also going to be gaining a bunch of crit chance as he continues along that relic path. So you don't necessarily need a lot of crits. The thing I would recommend, though, folks, is if you're really gung ho about the biggest thing for you is trying to get a lot of turn meter, I would recommend that you also try to get his crit chance, get a crit chance triangle. I normally don't recommend that. Normally it's just you know what, if you really want crits that bad, you probably don't want crits that bad. If you need plus 20%, that's probably too much. You're missing out on offense. You should be looking at other attributes and everything, but for him, it's good because, remember, there's a lot of crit avoidance out there, whether it's from Datacrons, whether it's from other kits, people wearing crit avoid arrows, like Treya is in vogue right now. There's a ton, she gives a ton of crit avoid. There's a ton of that, and if someone just has hey, here I have a crit, minus 30% crit chance, suddenly, even with 107% crit chance, he's down, he has a 20% chance to not crit them. And so having an over-the-top crit chance is actually not too bad because it's all additive, and that's just kind of how it all works. That's the interconnectivity of it all. So I'd probably be better off if I could get an offense set or an offense primary with a crit chance set, and then I could actually get a little bonus crit chance from here. But that's what I'm doing right now. I think eventually I'm gonna want to put my old Yoda mods on. Let's see if I even have that loadout here real quick. Oh, I think I deleted all my loadouts. What's wrong with me? Hold on a sec. Oh, all right, I'm back. Let me show you guys this mod loadout, guys. This is what I used to have on him, and I honestly, it's probably a better one just because then that way you can go first. Oh, what am I doing enhancing? This is madness. So I set up I swapped with Grandmaster Yoda. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. Alright, I think this should work. Gosh, you've never seen me put this much work into a video. No, this is actually not too bad, but we need, so putting the Grandmaster Yoda one on, I just want to show you kind of what the hit we're going to be taking if we do that is, okay? So, this is the old set that he used to wear. I said he was going to be 365, I was a little bit off there, so he'd be gaining another 22 speed, which is actually pretty big in the greater order of trying to outspeed the super fast squads out there, so he'd be 382 speed after his leadership, and then the big thing is, you get variable health and protection and stuff based on what mods you have. The big thing is you'd be taking, this is, 1,300 damage per hit lead. I mean, that's not 1,300, total damage per hit. That's just his total offense. I mean, that percentage-wise, that's, a significant amount of damage that he's losing, frankly. So, is it 20%-ish? I don't really know, guys, but I'm sure someone in the comment will be like, actually, Zareth, you were wrong, but you can see I also have a loaded crit chance here because I have a crit chance triangle, so I'm probably going to end up doing that again. I think the speed and making sure the rest of his squad goes first is going to be more important, but for now, I'm sure having a lot of fun with a lot of the extra offense that he can offer. So right now, Grandmaster Yoda gets to hit hard for a little bit longer. So 3 more characters here, folks, and we'll get you out of here. These modding videos always take a while, but alright, the new hotness, guys, is Nihilus, and people want to know why their Nihilus is getting killed instantly sometimes or whatever. Remember, a lot of times he's going to be hanging out with Treya, and he's going to be with Treya lead. Frankly, he should be with Treya lead a lot of times, but against certain builds, against Malgus and against And against the Lord Vader squads, he's going to be the lead. And remember that his lead is going to just be, so everyone gains, including himself, 60% offense and 150% health steal. And then remember, Sith allies lose all protection and gain that much max health. And so, and then you can't crit with him. So if you have any crit chance, totally wasted if he's the lead. Now, it's kind of tricky because I think that a lot of times, guys, we gotta be versatile enough to actually use, like, you gotta have to say, okay, Trey is better for this situation, Nihilus is better for this, and I think in general you're gonna be better suited with health because Trey is going to prefer to be doing extra, she's going to be boosting your health and you're going to be healing your health, from her. Once your protection is gone, you don't regenerate that really. And so under Traya, you want a lot of health. Under Nihilus lead, you would actually be better off putting max protection on and then have it disappear into his health. I think that another way to mitigate a lot of damage would be to just use defense sets. I think the defense sets in general are going to be more effective than than health sets or whatever. I do like health sets just to bulk someone up, and plus we get a lot more of them in game because CG has deigned to hand them over to us and just like, here, have some health mods, and it's like, thank you kindly. And it is nice to have, so having some extra health is good. And then I think that one thing that you want to keep in mind, there's a few factors. So first off, I have an arrow with this much offense on it. That's kind of cool. Like having some offense is nice because they all ramp their damage. It's not just annihilate damage. But then having health, another thing you could do though, folks, is you have to balance it too with the idea of how much is he going to go? You want him to be kind of fast. Like, mine isn't that fast. I need to work on getting him a little bit speedier because sometimes he gets lapped, and then if you get stagger, yes, he dispels it when he takes a turn, but if someone hits him before he takes a turn, that stagger doesn't do anything. And similarly, if someone's going to be coming up and hitting him really hard before he can start stacking his stuff, then having some like crit avoid might be kind of nice. I think having some speed on him is good. In fact, I think having speed set is probably, at this point, you probably do want a speed set. He's just so naturally slow. He's not going to get that much from a speed set, but then you really want to bulk him up with a lot of health, and if you can get a really fast crit avoid arrow, that might really help him a lot. Another thing that a lot of people don't consider for him, or for this squad, and I mean, it kind of almost doesn't make sense, but it does in a weird way, is you don't want him to get staggered, you don't want him to get debuffed, even though Traya helps him dispel all of that. It really hurts you in the short term, and so putting some tenacity on him is also not the worst idea in the world. I don't think you probably have to go all in if you're gonna go with tenacity, but I think that Traya even gives you, does she give you tenacity on her lead? I don't remember, guys. One way or another, I do think that the more defensive things on him are better, and then you just don't want to get lapped. Like Malgus right now, a fast Malgus is going to be pretty dang close to lapping him, actually, and that's not good for a lot of different reasons. If you're getting all of these debuffs and having your cooldowns increased, like that's death for him, right? And so the things that he's countering, you probably want him fast, faster than mine. You want him defensive, and you want him thick. Like that's the big thing. Some offense on here is great. That's a really weird arrow, actually. A defense set with this much offense. I don't really know. I don't know what to tell you guys. Some protection. I haven't looked at his mods for a while. Also, I don't know why I put him at Relic 6 and just stopped. The other two were Relic 7. Probably because I ran out of mats. Oh yeah, we got two more here, folks. Now, B1 is in a place, there are 3 viable sets that he can even have at all. That he can use, because he can't crit, so anything with crit damage or crit chance is totally worthless, and he doesn't have health, so anything with health set or anything with protection is totally wasted. And so the options are, you can either go fast, or you can have him do damage, or you can have him cause debuffs, which the debuffs are probably pretty important. And so I have mine at moderate speed. You can have him a lot faster, but I think the thing is, B1, and we've talked about this a lot, he's got pervasive damage that no one really realizes how much damage he does. Like, maybe at the end of the fight, maybe you could say, like, yeah, sure, Grievous did more damage than anyone else, but B1 just kind of tags along, and he's like the secondary damage dealer, and he keeps people from really being able to heal that well. He's also going to be able to heal quite a bit himself on his own team, and so the thing is, you probably do want some speed on him, just so that he can take turns and he can go forth and, you know, place some target lock on people. But so if you can find some potency secondaries, which, I mean, you find some of them here and there. I think you still want like an offense cross and everything, but having some potency on them would be nice. Just getting some potency to place some target locks on early. You're gonna ramp your target lock ability with, at least on a Grievous, but you want him fast because the thing is, he's shooting every time. If he's on a 4-person team, before he takes another turn, he's already shot 4 more times usually, and so he's doing that a lot. He's trying to apply those debuffs, and early target locks are going to be really, really helpful, guys. Like, later target locks might end up being too late. So, you know, apparently he has some crit damage. That's probably on his relic level, frankly, but just offense, and that's it. Keep in mind, guys, no crit damage or crit chance. I've seen those triangles way too many times, and I feel bad every time for laughing as hard as I do. Finally, we have Mara Jade, and she actually also wants some potency, folks, and I know that what you're going to say, well, with her first special, she causes an AoE tenacity down, and then with Emperor Palpatine lead, which she's almost always with, she's going to take another turn because of the turn meter bonus stuff, and I tend to agree on some levels, but on other levels, it's like, well, if she does that, sometimes she's not able to actually go next right away anyways, because various reasons, because it's also not, so it's, you know, inflict stun and vulnerable on the target enemy, then on everyone else you inflict tenacity down, and that's a total of 5 debuff. Well, I guess it's a total of 7 debuffs, but if you miss at all, or if, you know, if they have foresight, for instance, or, you know, like, she sometimes isn't gonna go next, or if she does, sometimes she's not able to take advantage of it. Like, sometimes you want to go second here anyways, because what I'm trying to allude to is the second special is she inflicts offense down, but the big thing is shock and stagger to everyone. Stagger is going to then reduce everyone's turn meter to 0 once they're hit again. The problem is, you want this to be immediately. So if there's a speed issue, it's like, well, she's barely fast enough. She's in the mirror match. She's 365, and your opponent is 362. She's gonna go first, and sure, she could put tenacity down on everyone, and then she'll probably even go next and throw her AoE and get stagger on everyone, and that's great. But then she's gonna get another turn, but her next turn isn't gonna be this AoE, not anymore, not the way it's working anymore. You know, not without the cool set 4 datacron. So she's gonna do basics, and sure, maybe she can loop around. She's gonna be able to take advantage of some of that stagger, but sometimes you just want to stagger your opponent's Mara Jade instantly. Sometimes that's what you want, or another character. And so you really, like, having that first turn, lots of potency, is going to potentially save your bacon. And I know that everyone here cares about their bacon. And so I think that that's going to be an important aspect for her. Sometimes you just want to apply that stagger first, get another turn because of Emperor Palpatine lead, and then hit everyone with this tenacity down thing. And then after that, probably you don't have to worry about having a high potency. You know, remember, Palpatine gives you another 35% potency, so that's nice. And so I would recommend. The other thing is, guys, she's one of the fastest characters in the game, and she's usually with Starkiller. If she's not, she's still super fast. So I would recommend, and I know this is tough to do, some people just can't do it. I'm not judging, I promise. You want to aim for 365 speed on her, just so that she can outspeed a lot of, like, the bounty hunter builds and everything with Zam and everything under Starkiller lead. So if she's 365, that means she's gaining another 70 speed, which on top of 365 is what, like 435, something like that, which is faster than pretty much any bounty hunter build you can have, because bounty hunters kill this team super fast. If they're fast enough, they just can't get as fast as her. So you want her to be super fast. And then also, if you want to run her in the mirror, she's almost just a slam dunk, as long as you can land that stagger, at least, on your opponent's Mara Jade. If you can land the stagger first, and you're faster, then you're going to be able to just run laps around your opponent's Starkiller, and you get a really, really good score, and just destroy them in the mirror match. And so, those are the things you really want to be keeping in mind. Not to mention, if you're facing like resistance, and a lot of people like to just load their resistance up with a ton of tenacity, just to resist these debuffs and stuff. It's just nice to have a lot of potency on the squad. So 85 isn't a crazy amount, but I think it's a good start. Just give her a set, and then if you can, give her a potency cross, and then call it good. Like try to put speed, like really focus on those speed secondaries, guys, like plus 28, plus 26, you know, pretty good stuff. So then when you get a really bad one like plus 23, now this is really fast, guys. I'm not trying to be facetious here. Then, you know, but you're able to kind of manage. So anyways, those are the characters, folks. This has been 40 minutes, damn. But I like to make sure I'm giving some robust explanations on these characters, because you want to know how they work, and you want to know what they're good in, you know, what matchups they're good in, and kind of their context. And we just talked about Starkiller, honestly. Like, she goes hand in hand with him. Not to mention, if she can, not to make any kind of puns, she does go hand in hand with him, though, which is nice, because not too many people in the Star Wars universe have hands anymore. Hands down, one of the biggest problems in the galaxy. Oh my gosh. So she's really good, guys, at fast speeds with a lot of potency. And you know, at the highest levels, that's how people are using Starkiller to counter like Jabba teams and stuff, because Jabba teams are going to have a ton of tenacity as well for some of them. Not to mention, Jabba minuses your potency by 30 just by having Chrysanthemum with his Omicron in there. So anyways, folks, I'm gonna let you go. Like I said, it's been 41 minutes, so thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.